Hello, chess people. I come to you on this remarkably cold San Angelo evening with hot tea in hand, my alma mater sweatshirt, hoodie, and a Grunfeld exchange variation. So let's get right into it. Okay. D4, knight f6, c4. Again, like I've said in multiple videos, we could go into just about everything in the kitchen sink here. It all depends on what black wants to play. But today we see d5, which is transposing into a Queen's Gambit declined with knight f6, right? Well, knight c3, and now we reach to Grunfeld. He wants to fianchetto this bishop. I often call this, jokingly, cappuccino. There's the infamous double cappuccino in our chess positions, right? But no, this is a fianchetto. So he's going to bring his bishop out here eventually. But first we take, and they take. And this is why they call it the exchange variation. Because, think about this for a minute, right? Are you ready? Because we exchange in the center. So white wants to take the full center. e4, kicking the knight. The knight can go to b6, then I can go back to f6, or then I can take. And here, well, we take and we take back. And now there's some 13,000 games by masters in this position. We have this delightful pawn center, but black's a little more developed, going to get castled sooner. So we'll see where this goes from here. I mean, we could see bishop g7, or eventually we'll see that, but for the next move, we could see bishop g7, we could see c5. Let's see where this opponent takes us. c5, delightful. Now, we don't want to take this because this would make anyone want to quit chess altogether. So we don't want that. A number of moves are possible here. Knight f3, bishop e3, bishop c4, and I played bishop to b5 check. Now our opponent decides to block with the bishop. It's a good thing too, because there are, well, there's some issues with this, right? We don't want to run into those. Even though there's, there's some tricky lines here, but it's still, this is uncomfortable for black. So he uses the bishop to block, right? And for some reason, it's telling me, question mark, exclam. That's fine. I accept that. I thought it would be good to add more pressure, but, computers are computers, right? So he can just throw a knight in there, and this is really tempting now to just play d5. So I do. And in goes the knight to e5. He holds it together. This is still happening here, right? So I take, and he takes back with that delightfully placed e5 knight. Now, another another WTF by the computer with a question mark there. This was perhaps better. Rook to b1, taking that open file, right? But I played bishop to b2. And here we see bishop g7, finally. There is kind of a cheeky move here, though. b5. Now, I wouldn't have played this. But, this is a pretty cool move. So check it out. If we take the pawn, we are just demolished here, right? It's just super uncomfortable. Knight comes back. It's just it gets very wild, right? Now, the computer in its infinite wisdom suggests king to f1. And why does it suggest king to f1? Because, good people, if we play something natural like this, then we get rook takes b2. But I don't understand. Aren't they just giving up a rook? I mean, my goodness gracious. No, you just lost the game, right? So that's why it recommends, this is purely insulting. I mean, look at this. That's why it recommends King F1, sidestepping all of this nonsense. But this is still good for black, and our king is on F1? No way. Not in this life, my friend. So glad black missed that cheeky move. But, okay, bishop G7. Queen to C2. I just want to kind of consolidate here because this is not fun. And I have a feeling my queen's not doing much on A4. Castles and knight F3. Delightful. We're developing. We're going to castle ourselves. Knight B6. Perhaps trying to reroute. Eliminate the bishop. Who knows, right? Knight D2. I don't want a knight coming in here. I don't want that. So knight D2. Preventing. Also defending E4 twice in the case that I want to move my queen to do anything else. Okay. Our opponent breaks in the center with E6. What to do? Well, C4 is a solid move here, just shoring up all these pawns. I mean, this is fine. It prevents this in the future. Not really concerned about the knight. We could do a couple things. I just take. Easy, right? F takes. We got these two kind of awkward E-pawns now, just chilling in the center. It does open up pretty excellent attacking chances for my opponent, but guess what? I didn't know what else to do. So, castle. Yeah. Question marks again. Delightful. So, in comes the queen. Now, he wants some attacking ideas here. So, if I played perhaps the very natural knight F3, knight back to F3 to attack the queen, I pretty much just lose the game because this is pinned, my friend. It's pinned. Can't do it. Can't allow it, right? So, keep that in the back of your head. It's going to be relevant. C4. Kind of like we had earlier, but, you know, now. So, away goes the bishop. And we take back. In comes the rooks. Now look. Simple addition tells us we have two attackers, one defender. Well, again, this is a terrible blunder. So, we must defend with a rook. Okay. Rook D4. Rather aggressive, if I do say so myself, sir. If you would kindly back out of my territory ever so gingerly, I would greatly appreciate it, right? So what now? Well, queen to C3. This way, I can play knight F3, and this doesn't mean much because I can just take with the queen. Pretty neat. Solving problems here, right? E5. He really says, look, man, this rook is here to stay. And there's nothing I can do about it right now, so just going to have to deal with it. Now, my knight can come to F3, attacking the queen. It's such a nice move to play. It just feels so good when you attack a queen. I love it, right? You should love it too, because now this doesn't work. However, shocking the audience, we have rook takes. Maybe he didn't realize my queen was on C3. Maybe he thought he had some kind of trick, but he does not have a trick. I can just take that. Now he's exchanged, exchanged a rook for a knight. Perhaps a brilliant exchange sacrifice. I can't get in his head, but I personally did not see the benefit. Now he grabs this pawn, and you know, it's tempting to take this rook, but those are connected passers. That is pretty terrifying. So, you know, all my resources would go towards stopping those. I don't want to do that. I don't want to deal with that. No. I do have this. Remember that for next time because it's going to become relevant. So the knight takes. Oh, what do you know? There it is. And we pin immediately. It's very good for us. Very good. Very useful pin. Very strange to see a knight on c4. I can't remember the last time I saw a knight on c4. And if you said you'd pay me $10,000 to tell me the last time I saw it, I would have nothing to say to you. And I guess I wouldn't have $10,000 either. But this pin is great for us. This pin means a lot for us. He takes the e-pawn. Okay, looks good to him. I mean, eliminating as much material as possible. It's even now. You know, the exchange sack has worked. But guess what? It's +7. So, okay. This is our key into the position. This is our ticket. B7, right? Because there are just oodles and oodles of attacking ideas. Obviously, the queen protects, but we can do some things to work on that, right? There's the board's opening up is what I'm trying to say. So we can start to attack black now that we've parried all of their ineffective sacrifices and attacks. So our queen's into the position. This is very good. It's just like Alekhine said, right? Getting on the 7th rank. Excellent. In comes the rook, and I give a check. I suppose I could have taken, but again, the idea of these two passed pawns, not down with that idea. So, queen to c8 check, king g7, and now, oh, another question mark. How disrespectful. Queen takes on c5. Apparently, I could just take this rook. I mean, this is fine because white just gets all these checks in, and this is awkward for black. And I mean, yeah, that's about it. We can force him into this kind of corridor here, and it's just bad news bears. Even if our pieces are attacked, right? He's just forced in. We can sidestep, and we're good to go. I mean, we're good to go. This doesn't work, so there's possibilities here, right? But I'll accept my question mark with full confidence. Okay, knight d2, attacking a rook. We kind of just saw this, didn't we? Now he's planning some devious, dastardly forks in the future, right? And attacks and checks and all the delightful things that knights do, as they were taught from a young age in knight school all the way up through knight college. And apparently we have a distinguished graduate here. So I take another pawn. Queen a7 check, right? Queen takes a7 check. In goes the king to this little corridor we talked about earlier. Okay. Centralize the queen. Get it right back to where it's useful. Kind of a nice little pin here. If I can liquidate the queens, I think I can win this. Here comes the knight. Distinguished honor grad, right? This is pinned, people. Can't do it. Only move. King h1. Now, black thinks I don't see this, but he is setting up checkmate in one move. Well, I do happen to see this, and I play one of the two responses. Now, one of the responses is queen to c1, because this forces a trade. Look, it's pinned, folks. It's pinned to the king. Outstanding. I was not even thinking about that. Not remotely close to thinking about queen to c1. I played the natural move g3, which also works here, right? Now, setting up all sorts of devious, dastardly discoveries. Alliteration is fun. I highly recommend it. Clearly, this square is taken, so I can't step out of this, right? But what I have to do is just get rid of that rook, right? Just got to get rid of that rook. Now, any discoveries will be useless because I'll just take the queen. So, the knight takes anyways. Oh, scary discovery, right? Not a big deal because f3 is there. Now, what if, good people, we play king to g1? Well, I will tell you, checkmate. So, we don't want to do that. That's not not recommended. I have this one rule where I don't like to lose the game as much as possible, so we got to play f3 so we don't lose and break my one rule, right? Okay. Knight takes. Don't think this works, my friend. We just start giving checks, And here, we're back in that corridor. Now, this is real unfortunate for black. They've played an excellent game thus far, but this is just crushing, I mean, black resigns. That's it. Lights out. But what an excellent game to my opponent in this exchange Grunfeld. Regardless of how many question mark exclams I got, I think it was a pretty solid game. We saw some exciting tactics. We saw some neutralizing of exciting tactics. We saw some bishops flying across the board, rooks doing their thing. Really, it's good, clean fun for the whole family. Now, I hope you enjoyed this this breakdown. Join us for some rapid chess on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Central Time in our chess.com club. You can find the link below. I do hope you're all staying warm. So, keep calm, chess on, etc. Go to sleep, drink water. Do well in your studies. Be a good person. Take care.